Hello, listeners, and welcome once again to Tales from the Arclight. We return now to Hoard of the Cinder King, an Exandrian tale. May I reintroduce our lovely players and the characters they are playing?
Hello, I'm Nathan Dean, and I will be playing the character Errol Kane. He is a dark elf drow fighter at level 7, a gunslinger from a small town where he started as a sheriff and is now turning to a life more of crime. And I stupidly elected to do a cowboy accent all the way through this.
I'm Rebecca Reeg, playing Brenna Nimblecloak, a Ghostwise halfling cleric of the Changebringer. I'm a member of the class whose past is starting to come back towards her.
And so, we return to Exandria and our tale, Hoard of the Cinder King. On a small world, west of wonder, somewhere, nowhere, or decades ago, a great red dragon waged war on the world of Exandria. It roosted atop a great city, its nest a pile of gold, jewels, and magical items, a great hoard to rival all of the great worms of the Chroma Conclave, its eggs incubating in a roiling magma summoned up from the ground and fueled by chaotic energies of the plane of fire. Bathed in the blood of the innocent and belching smoke and elemental fire, the Cinder King reigned supreme over Imon until they came. Gnomes, humans, elves, a half-giant, even an armored bear, wielding weapons of godly power, the vestiges of divergence, and another dragon, the diseased deceiver, who sought to claim from the Cinder King the cure for her deadly affliction. They slew the dragon in battle. The great hoard was dispersed, the eggs collected and destroyed. All save one. A horse-drawn, covered wagon rattles along a cobbled street, away from the ruins of Amon's Cloudtop district. In the driver's seat, a man in a black hooded cloak. The hood hides the tattoo on the back of his neck, the brand of the clasp. His mission is to ferry the contents of the wagon to his superiors, to Spiling Shen. That is all he knows, all he will ever know. He arrives at the destination, a half-ruined building in Amon, and exits the wagon. Before him stands a heavily scarred half-orc, the same tattoo on his neck, holding a dagger in one hand. "You ready?" The driver nods solemnly. "For the glory of the clasp." The half-orc slits the driver's throat, and the man tumbles to the ground, gurgling his last breath. The half-orc turns to a number of other figures hiding in the darkness, all robed, all tattooed.
"Bring it inside. Dump the body in the sewer."
The shadowy figures set about their work, emptying the wagon of its cargo. The corpse of the driver is dragged to a nearby manhole, the cover raised and pushed aside. The body tumbles down into the dark and lands with a splash that echoes into the night. Whilst this is happening, the horse spooks and shifts, jostling the wagon, and two figures maneuvering a crate off of it lose their grip, dropping it and knocking loose the lid. Glittering treasure spills out. The half-orc rounds on them.
"Pick it up and get inside,"
he barks in an angry whisper. The men jostle forward to cram as much back into the crate as they can. One stumbles over what feels like a large cobblestone or a chunk of masonry and kicks it out of his way into the street. They slap the lid back on the crate and finish their work, then disappear into the shadows from whence they arrived. The night is quiet again. Out in the street, the manhole lies uncovered, forgotten in the rush to retrieve their quarry. Perched on the lip, still gently revolving from when it was kicked, is a hard, rough-edged stone-like oval about the size of a man's hand. In the dark, the faintest bead of glowing orange light seems to emanate from within it, flickering weakly, like the embryonic heartbeat of a creature struggling towards birth. The darkness of the sewers threatens to engulf it entirely, and something even further in, a deeper shadow, calls out to the last egg of the great dragon Thordek. It promises survival, opportunity, but most of all, it promises power. The egg teeters a second longer on the lip of the hole and falls, end over end, into the deeper shadow. Many years pass, and we find ourselves once again on a dirt road on the outskirts of Amon. The three of you stood with spears bristling around you as an entire troop of Amon's city guard have leveled weapons at you. Last you left off, you were attempting to escape the city by stealing, rather ill-advisedly, the horses of the City Watch from under their noses as they were setting up a perimeter around the last sovereign pub, your hideout and safe house for the now truly botched into a cocked hat heist mission that you undertook at the behest of one Derwin Ninefingers, former member of the Clasp, and his cohort, the tiefling Reynard, who not only lifted out from underneath your very noses your prize, the gold and jewel-encrusted gauntlet known as the 5 Fingers of Discount, but in a truly unexpected but inevitable betrayal, disintegrated before your very eyes Telford Cornflower, one of your comrades, and seemingly unbeknownst to the majority of you, a highly proficient sorcerer. And as if all of these revelations weren't enough, out of left field, exploding out of a corona of dawn's early light, came this magnificent silver-haired, pale-skinned, impossibly beautiful Azimar with a chiseled jaw and the bearing of what you can only describe as the archetypal knight in shining armor, who has seemingly arrived here with the intention of interceding on your behalf to bring you on a mission you know not what. A lot is happening for the ragtag band of misfits who, as of now, are still without a name. And yet you are here. What do you do?
Is it weird that in the flashback prologue, the only thing I'm thinking of is are dragons like snails and slugs, in that they are both genders and then they can create their own eggs and that's how they work? Or like is like just trying to figure out like dragon physiology while you're talking about how like Thordek laying eggs.
The whole book on that.
Becky, I can see you. I can see you waiting to jump in with that, Becky. And that is not an area of discussion.
We discuss dragon biology.
I'll send it to you later. It's called the Draconomicon. Yeah.
The technical term for what you're describing is monster fucker. Thank you very much. And we are not discussing
whole genre.
that. This is a family show, folks. Oh, yes.
No, there. According to Dragonomicon, there are 2 genders of dragons.
Yes, there are male and female dragons.
They're like lizards. They're like lizards of crocodiles and whatnot. So think of it like that. Think of a reptilian like that. All right, back to this game.
On a scale of 1 to fucked, how fucked are we?
Yes.
Well, we just stole horses.
Correction, you attempted to steal horses.
Oh, attempted to steal horses. Okay, so we suck at stealing horses. Gotcha. Which is good or bad? I don't know right now. It's usually a capital offense. We don't have time for this. I'm looking at the guards now with the thing. We don't have time for this. There's a murder on the loose, and we're trying to catch them. So, sighty, blah, 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 adventurers, get free, bye-bye. And I'm going to try and...
Make a deception check with disadvantage, unless you can do something here to sort of try and smooth things along. Because they caught you dead to rights.
Yeah, well, remember, I'm short, so I'm going to be trying to look around, but I'm going to need captain of the guard, please. Your superior. Manager. No white girl this. I'd like to speak with your manager, please.
Yeah, roll for Karen with disadvantage. I guess that's charisma. No, it's charisma. Give me deception with it.
Excellent. That would be a 14.
The guard captain, who has been in the process of like shuffling his way to the front of this rank of soldiers who all have spears actively pointing at you, says, "I'm Guard Captain Willis. Are you Brennan Nimblecloak?"
I cannot confirm or deny my identity. I just need to let you know, we're after a murderer. We need to go.
Is that so? Well, you are requested by the Council of Tal'Dorei, and as of this moment, you are all under arrest on a number of charges.
Again? I mean,
Where's this knight in shining armor in relation to the what's the layout of like spears, us, knight?
So if you imagine sort of like a donut or a bagel, you are the hole at the center of this donut. So he has appeared on the outside of the donut and is sort of slowly but surely, just seemingly through like sheer force of like personality alone, is slowly kind of shuffling his way, not quite to the center, but to sort of like the inner edge of this group. And it helps that he stands like he's a good 6-7 feet tall, so he stands about a foot taller than the tallest member of this group. So he's just slowly easing himself through, just like, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. And he stands there. Guard Captain, my name is Siegfried Sturmdrang, Paladin, and the captain said, "Yes, we know who you are. You are known to us, Paladin Sturmdrang, but we are on official council business, and you have no jurisdiction over this matter." The Paladin just gives this big, winning smile and says, "Well, as officers of the law, I would not wish to impede you in your duties. However, is it not in the teachings of Pelor that all must have their day in court?" And you see the guard captain sort of looks side to side and is like, "Well, yeah, I suppose. We're taking them to see the council. They've been demanded to be taken there immediately to be spoken for." "Yes, very good. As a paladin of the Dormfar, I nominate myself to act as court advocate for these people. It is my firm." "Excellent. he steps forward, and a number of the guards start stepping forward and putting you, just shackling your hands. And he very generously holds his own hands out to be shackled as well. And the guard captain's like, that won't be necessary. Do you allow yourselves to be escorted?
I feel like Errol's just going to be quiet throughout this process and just let it happen, and he'll just find his way out when it comes along. But is very much the face that I have been pulling of just quizzical. What is also what he is just aiming towards this Siegfried fella, especially when he asked to also be shackled. Like, what are you doing? Like, but not saying anything, just like, bro.
Make an insight check.
Okay. First roll. Do of this game. Where is insight? Boom. I got a natural 1.
Ooh.
This happened in the last game as well. Like, all of these months have passed, and I remember I was just getting nat 1s like across the board when we played last time. Apparently, Errol is no smarter.
I think in this moment you're just kind of like slightly bewitched, slightly hypnotized by how much glitter and got like just the rising sun is just like reflecting off of his armor, and it's just sort of. You're just like looking at him and going slightly cross-eyed at like how shiny he is, and a beam of light just catches you the wrong way. And being a drow and being used to living underground, it just catches you in the eye the right way and just glares in your face, and you're just like, ah!
I suppose as well, like, my experience of law enforcement as a sheriff before is just lots of grumpy people in cowboy coats and very mucky armor, and here's this guy that's turned up like a disco ball. Why are people listening to this disco ball?
Yeah. You are hovering like a fly, waiting for the windshield on the freeway. You are just... Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Zebediah is likewise keeping very quiet, and you see... Well, you don't see Errol because you are dazzled, but Brenna, I think you pick up on there is a lingering sort of a series of looks between Zebediah and this paladin. Like he's going to, for the moment, comply and allow to be taken into custody. But there is some sort of tension there that you don't necessarily understand straight away, but you can tell that it's there. So you are escorted back into the city of Amon through the streets. It's early in the morning. You can see that the town is just starting to sort of wake up. People, shopkeepers are coming out and sort of setting up stalls, opening their doors, setting up wares. You can smell, fresh baked bread. You can smell various kind of fresh fruits being brought out and set up in the marketplace. It's quite a trek because, again, the council building of Amon is at the top of the city, so you spend a good while being trudged through the streets of this huge metropolis until you eventually reach the Cloudtop district, which is this huge cliff-like protrusion out of the ground with many, many steps to the top that sort of shears off in a sheer cliff face with this grand palace at the top, which is currently appears to be in a state of repair. Anyone who wants to can make perception checks. I will say I believe Errol will be at disadvantage for this because he is this is daylight and you are out in the open, and you 21. You see, and you would also know this from being a resident of the city of Imon for as long as you have. The building that has been built atop the Cloudtop district is in the style of the original Palace of Imon, but it is not the original Palace of Imon. You know that this building, and indeed most of this part of the city, was leveled during the Chroma Conclave. They are rebuilding it, refashioning it, and you see a number of what appear to be golems or sort of arcanotech automatons, as well as these purple, magenta sort of flying entities that look sort of like a cross between a cat with wings, like a long, skinny cat, and like an axolotl kind of creature flying around the outside of this building, lifting stone and masonry, and there are scaffolds, and you see a sign outside the main entrance that says the reconstruction of the Palace of Amon is brought to you by courtesy of the League of Miracles. You proceed inside. You enter through huge double doors, vast, towering columns of marble, vaulted halls with buttresses and balustrades and staircases. The air is filled with stillness, but you still feel deep within the bowels and arteries of this building the hum of activity, of things being done. This is the heart of the bureaucracy of not just the city of Imon, but of the greater continent of Tal'Dorei itself. The captain of the guard brings all of you to tall double doors, opens them, and leads you inside. And a small handful of guards come with and basically cover the door, cover the exits, ensuring that you are not under any illusions that you will be able to simply sneak out. Big, very spacious meeting hall with a dais with a series of finely carved wooden chairs before you. And a number of figures are before you. Anyone wants to make a perception check, you may do so. I'll say this is just rolling flat for Errol because you are not in direct sunlight. There is ambient light, but you are not currently being.
Cool.
You are not
when we were
currently
heading
in direct sunlight.
When we were heading in, I got a 21 as well, just so you know.
Okay.
And this time I got 8.
16.
Okay. Okay. I'll say on that 16, Brenna, you see a number of people in, some of them are in elaborate kind of very fashionable clothing. Others are wearing sort of more practical, functional, but still what you would call like dress uniform or armor. You see before you a human woman who is blonde, and her hair is in these long braided ringlets that go down the back of her hair. She's dressed in a very elegant gown, and she looks, there's just the beginnings of the skin starting to sort of like become a little tighter in certain areas, maybe a little saggier in others, but you get this sense that her appearance is vastly being improved by the fact that she's clearly some sort of magical presence. she's radiating a magical aura. To her left is a human with grey hair. He wears armor, and there is the remnants of burn scars on his face. To the other side is a younger, perhaps like maybe mid to late 30s human woman with dark skin and black curly hair, which is like in a very functional sort of tied back bun, and carries herself with a very noble bearing, but is dressed functionally with some minor embellishments, but it's very low key. On the far right is a silver dragonborn in full plate and is missing their left arm below the shoulder. And around their neck is what appears to be some sort of amulet or religious symbol. Give me a quick religion check. Anyone who, we'll say, because Brenna got it. Brenna, make a quick religion check.
Non-natural 1. I know my god, I don't know other gods.
Non-natural 1.
I rolled a 2 and I have a -1 to it. I know my god, I don't know other gods.
Wow. Huh. Could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Looks kind of cool.
Does it look expensive?
It's a silver shield with a blue backdrop and a platinum shape of the head of a dragon.
A silver dragon wearing a silver dragon.
Funnily enough, yes.
That seems like he's a bit arrogant. He's a bit of himself.
There's a dragon that follows a dragon god.
I follow myself.
That works.
Well, prepare yourself for a slight shock. And finally, on the far left is a man-human with a similar noble bearing, very visibly in his middle ages, very pale skin with white hair, round spectacles, and long blue trench coat, who walks with a stick. Yes, and just above the table, Becky, you were correct. That is the
I know
the one in question.
Above the table, I know who it is. On at table, I'm like, that looks expensive. I wonder if I can leave with it. Better not. My hands are a little tied up right now.
The blonde, elegant woman steps forward and says, "This meeting of the High Council of Tal'Dorei is brought to order. Present," and she indicates herself, "Arcanist Allura Viserion," the armored, scarred human steps forward. "Arbiter Brom Goldhand, Master of Law," the dark-skinned woman steps forward. "Seeker Odessa Tal'Dorei, Master of Whispers," the dragonborn steps forward.
Guardian Topher Bratoris, Paladin of Bahamut.
And the one who identified herself as Allura indicates the white-haired gentleman and says, "And non-council members present, Lord Percival Frederick Stein von Musel Kowalski Darula III, Ambassador for the City of Whitestone, standing in for Lady Vexalia." And
I feel like can Errol just mutter under his breath at this point, like, "Do you boys do any council work here, or do you just go through all your names in this really elaborate fashion?" Because I feel like he'd find this really annoying. Like, back where he's from, you've already hung the guy that's done the bad thing. Like, this is a lot of pomp and circumstance. We're going to get on with this. What?
Make a dexterity saving throw.
18.
You narrowly avoid getting hit on the back of the head with a spear from the captain of the guard, who goes, "Shut up, you!"
I give him a smirk that I dodged it, but I do stay quiet.
You also see in the corner of the room another one of the automatons that was outside, and Allura sort of witheringly looks at it and acknowledges that a automaton of the League of Miracles will act as stenographer and note taker for this meeting, with a tone that even without an insight check you can sort of read as being sort of done mostly on sufferance.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, the three of you are sort of shuffled forward to the center of the room in order to sort of better address the council. And the individual who identified himself as Arbiter Goldhand steps forward and says, "Bran Nimblecloak, Errol Kane, Zebediah Victor, you stand accused of conspiracy to commit grand larceny, breaking and entering, multiple counts of aggravated assault, multiple counts of murder in the first degree, malicious vandalism, theft of council funds, and a frankly pitiful attempt to steal horses from under the nooses of the City Watch. What do you have to say for yourselves?"
I'm just glad we're finally getting to the crimes now.
Council funds. I don't remember stealing council funds. Stopping a murderer, yes, that's what we were trying to do.
I join in with this to make it a bit more of a back and forth. Like, no, I can't remember the first one either, but I do remember they chasing that murderer. That's a good point.
Yeah. I remember attempting to recover an artifact. I remember leaving a room full of gold alone, don't you?
Yeah, I remember there being gold, but it was just left like in the pile that it was originally in. Like, I don't think we touched any of it.
Now, as for the stealing of the horses, yes, I do admit that was a very pitiful attempt.
But if it's a pitiful attempt, that means that we didn't actually steal them. It was an attempt to steal them, and that's not the same thing at all. In fact, it was so pitiful, you might not.
I mean, we can retry it if you want, so that way it becomes like less pitiful. That would be great.
Yeah.
Brenna, make an intelligence check with advantage because this is something you would remember.
8.
We're funny, but we ain't smart.
I am not book smart. I am street smart.
Council funds doesn't ring a bell to you.
No, it doesn't.
But you say you left the gold alone. You remember calling on the aid of your deity to get you out of the vault before it flooded. You traded your safe passage out of the vault for the entire contents of that vault. That vault was... And if that vault was full of Thordak's treasure...
Well, that means you need to arrest whoever that fellow was that she brought in.
Yeah, that wasn't me. That was some extraplanar deity, extraplanar dude.
And also, I'm sure there's some sort of bylaw about going against people's religious beliefs. Otherwise, that just gets all kind of hokey.
The Silver Dragonborn looks pointedly at you at this point.
He pissed off the dragon.
At this point, Siegfried steps forward and raises his hands in a placatory gesture and says, "Honored council members, my name is Siegfried Sturmdrang, Paladin of Pelor, the Dawn Father. I understand that you wish to see these people incarcerated, as is your prerogative. But I believe there is more to this story than a mere botched robbery. Perhaps a greater good may be served by listening to their side of the story and how they came to be in this situation to begin with. I I can cast a spell to ensure that no chicanery is being perpetrated. At your discretion, of course. Odessa nods and says, very well, Sir Siegfried. And as he is pacing around in front of you, you see that Siegfried has encircled you at this point and is about to cast Zone of Truth. Now, you create a magical zone that guards against deception in a 15-foot radius sphere, centered on the point of your choice within range. Until the spell ends, a creature that enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, a creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. You know, the caster knows whether each creature succeeds or fails on its saving. So there's no weaseling out of this. You either pass or fail, and he knows the difference.
You can be evasive as long as the evasiveness is true.
It gets to that next. An affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus avoid answering questions to which it would normally respond with a lie. Such creatures can be evasive in its answers as long as it remains within the boundaries of the truth. So...
Wheel of Time shit.
I don't understand that reference, but yes.
In the Wheel of Time, the women can't, what are they called? The Aes Sedai. They can only speak the truth, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't lie by saying things which are true, but are not true.
They don't have to speak the whole truth.
So you feel sort of holy light and energy suffuse and surround the three of you in a circle. Do you all choose to make the save, or do you elect one person to answer the questions?
I was just going to let it happen.
I'm just going to let it happen.
Yeah,
you're going to willingly fail the save.
Yeah,
in order to sort of speak truthfully.
Mm-hmm. Don't see the point of trying to fight it.
I would think with Brenna's path, she would know that this is probably the easiest way to get out of a situation.
Yeah, path of least resistance. So you feel this energy acting upon you, and you feel sort of a warm light settle over you, and Siegfried looks down at all of you, and again, just this big winning smile that he has. And he looks at you and he says, I understand that this might go against some of your more natural instincts, but trust me, my friends, the truth will set you free. Innocent people don't run. And he's going to step back.
We were running, we were chasing.
Also, very naive.
Telepathically, you get, shh, don't piss off our lawyer.
And he turns to the council and says, to the best of my knowledge, what is said within the circle will be the truth. And so saying, Brom Goldhand says, what was your purpose at the last
is the average speed of an unladen
God damn it. God damn it. God damn it, Nathan. I was resisting the urge. God damn you.
Not enough.
For those of you that are listening,
absolute asshole.
The English people have gone with a Monty Python joke. It's fantastic.
Look. Also, I didn't have questions prepared for this, so this is you're making it
even
worse.
better because I can't remember what happened, so I don't even know if I'm going to be lying in a moment.
We were fulfilling a contract.
What was the nature of this contract?
To receive a glove called the Five Fingers at discount, of which we were
What?
betrayed.
Whom was this betrayer?
Reynolds? Reynard.
This Reynard, was he known to you prior to your meeting?
No. I didn't even know this guy before me meeting. Or that one.
Who was this contract made with? Who was the ringleader?
Feel like we could say not sure, because although we know who gave us the instructions, we could argue that we don't know whether he's
Former
the
class
ringleader.
members.
Yes.
Former clasp. I'll rule under the circumstances that this is within the bounds of the truth. But however, Brum is going to press you for a name. What was the name of your contact?
What was the gnome's name?
I'll say above the table, it was Derwin. Derwin Nine Fingers.
I thought that was a dwarf.
No, he was a gnome.
Okay. The Nine Fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Nine Fingers now?
I do not know.
Oh,
Who else was in your party?
Calford. Above table. I've been, under, you know what.
Telford.
I point and then I'm thinking because I'm like, and then Reynard and one more, I can't remember his name. Telford. I literally just met these people today.
Drunk.
At this point, the Dragonborn perks up and says,
Cornflower? Telford Cornflower? What happened to him? Where is he?
That was the murder we were talking about. Reynard killed him and we were going after Reynard to get him to justice.
Mm-hmm. Poor bastard didn't make it.
The Dragonborn looks down and you see a wave of sadness come over their face and say,
Telford Cornflower is dead. This bodes very poorly. Telford Cornflower was a chosen of Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon. He was prophesied that he would aid in the destruction of a great evil. If he has been murdered, then this is graver than I thought.
Be fair, he could still be the catalyst that stops the great evil. I mean, usually you need the death of somebody special to spring you into action. Or the threat of their death.
At this point, one of the guards comes in from outside, hurries over, and whispers something into the ear of Brum Goldhand. His face sets a little more grimly, and he nods and dismisses the guard and says, Darwin Nine Fingers has been found. Dead.
What?
He was found in an alleyway off the docks of Iman, throat slit.
What?
You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
I need to leave now. These need to come off now.
You are still under our custody, Miss Nimblecloak.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. That's great. There's a coup going on. Off now.
What is the nature of your relationship with Mr. Nine Fingers?
I owed him.
You owed him, huh?
I did.
And what was the nature of this debt that you would answer his call?
This is where Brennan goes quiet. And you can see that she's formulating how to say this carefully without lying.
Saying nothing, hon, is also not lying. You don't owe them shit.
I used his services. And I couldn't pay in gold.
Make a persuasion check. With advantage because you are in the zone of truth.
That's cool.
8. I need to up my charisma.
You get the impression that the Arbiter understands mechanically that you are telling the truth within reason, and that the way he's scrutinizing you You know that he is probably not satisfied with that answer, but is prepared to leave it at that. Finally, on the end of the group, Lord Derolo stands up, putting his weight on his cane, and turns to you, Errol, and says, "It appears you have a number of firearms about your person. That one in particular," and he points to Lyre. "Where did you acquire that item?"
I need to remember. I got that from a casino, didn't I? Like, I fought a guy and I took it from him. Is that how I got it?
Yes. Above the table, you got it in Kaimel. It was you took it as a trophy off of a contract kill that you made in a casino in Kaimel.
I got it from a guy who's going to struggle to lie himself nowadays.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. 13.
He arches an eyebrow at you quizzically and sort of nods, and again, you are in the zone of truth. See if you do better with an advantage. You say you had 13 on that last one. See if you can beat a 15.
I got 16.
Very good. So at this point, the council members confer amongst themselves, and there is some discussion. You catch snatches of conversation, but nothing concrete. At this point, they signal to Siegfried to drop the zone of truth, but you guys are still held in manacles. You're still being kept here. And Allura and Odessa step forward specifically. And Allura sort of steeples her hands and is clearly very deeply in thought. And she turns to you and she says, "Understand that the reason you are here is because the events that you've partaken in are part of a much grander scheme that is underway. One that potentially threatens our entire city, perhaps even more than that. We had to know for certain that you were, as they say, on the level. In as much as people in your profession can be, of course."
Rude.
She arches an eyebrow at you.
Telepathically, you get, "I think we fucked up. I think we fucked up big time."
Can I send back telepathically?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes.
I send something back along the lines of like, what do you make of all this? Do you think these guys are talking out of the other end, so to speak? Or do you think there's something to this?
I think they were trying to make sure that we weren't actually like Renard level evil.
Mm-hmm.
Allura continues. There has been a recent uptick in thefts of magical artifacts and powerful talismans across Tal'Dorei. Break-ins, con artistry, and other acts of petty criminality. The items in question did not at first seem consequential in and of themselves, but a closer inspection by our agents revealed that almost all of them were connected in some way to the Hoard of Thordak, the Cinder King. Now, the problem with simply taking gold or treasure that once belonged to a dragon's hoard is that it carries with it the essence of its former master. And to knowingly take part of the wealth of a dragon is to make oneself vulnerable to a powerful curse. In short, dragon madness. The only sure way to avoid this is if one does not know that the wealth is cursed. Thus, the easiest way to break the curse is to distribute it freely and anonymously, allowing the curse to die along with the dragon. Those gifted in the ways of Arcana may also disentangle the curse, but the difficulty in doing so remains very high. However, it seems the clasp absconded with a portion of that treasure some time ago. And whilst its location was essentially an open secret to those of us with mastery of the arcane, there was little we could do to retrieve it without enabling the curse to continue existing. This has forced the Council to seek out other means of supporting our infrastructure in the interim, and she eyes the automaton of the League of Miracles very pointedly. The dark woman, Odessa, chimes in. The person responsible for these thefts is a mystery to us. Someone who appeared out of nowhere some 3 years ago and began working their way through the criminal underworld, albeit not through the usual channels of the major syndicates, and never showing their true face to anyone. Even our most powerful mages have had difficulty tracking them or seeing through their disguises, as though some otherworldly force was blocking them from view. This, in and of itself, is unsettling. The only thing we could glean was a name they would go by in their dealings with higher-level criminals. The Heir of Cinder. Allura continues. We do not know who or what this so-called Heir of Cinder is, or what it wants with these artifacts. But anyone who is capable of eluding our sight and is invoking the name of the Cinder King and actively pursuing artifacts related to him, that person poses a clear and present danger to all of Exandria. If not for the combined efforts of Vox Machina and their allies, and at this point she glances at Percival, Thordak would have pulled the elemental plane of fire into the prime material, a new age of fire and chaos. Even the fracturing of reality itself was averted that day. Make an insight check. Anything over a 12.
I got a 17. Also, as a side question, did we know we were stealing from Thordak's treasure trove, or did we think we were just stealing from a treasure trove?
We just thought we were stealing from the class. 24.
I'll say that you were stealing from the clasp. I think you would know, but based on the conversations that were had, that this was part of the Hoard of Thordak at one point. The grander implications of that might have been lost on some of you, but certainly this was a portion of treasure that was at one point part of the Hoard of Thordak that was absconded with by the clasp and was then absconded with in turn by the myriad, essentially taking over their territory and sitting on it. I'll say on that 17 insight, you see that Allura is visibly conflicted and guilty, as though a great burden is upon her. You are free to do that as you will. I will say you can make a history check. Given that you passed, I will give you a history check with advantage on that. And this can be in parallel with the conversation that you are having. But yeah, make a history check with advantage.
10.
10 total. On a 10, I will say you don't quite get the full scale of it, but you are able to put together, gleaning how old Allura probably is, the fact that she is a high-level mage, her position on the council, you get the impression that her relationship to Thordak and the Chroma Crisis runs a lot deeper than what is on the surface, and that this is deeply personal and deeply troubling for her. And having mentioned Renard already, Odessa chimes in once again. This tiefling, Renard, even if he is not the true heir of Thordak, terrifying as that prospect may be, He wishes to gain something from the latent power that resides in the dragon's hoard. He's been actively pursuing avenues of inquiry within the criminal underworld and systematically targeting specific individuals with ties to Thordak and the Conclave, which means we can now narrow down the possibilities for where he might travel next, but we cannot be certain. At this point, Siegfried chimes in. If I may, I am a paladin of the Dawnfather, tasked with a noble quest by his mightiness, the god Pelor himself, to seek out and destroy a branch of the cult of the Angel of Irons active in this region. And a low moan and a gasp runs through the assembled council. Indeed, they were last seen heading west of here, out of Kaimel, towards the great mountain, Gatshadow. Long has the chained oblivion exerted its foul influence through a rift deep in the heart of the mountain. It is my belief that the cult of the Aberrant One intends to go there to retrieve some artifact, or even to do, as they so often do, try to summon aberrations and even the Chained One itself into this plane. I was told that these people would be fundamentally vital to the success of my cause, and I think it is no coincidence that I see them now entangled in an even grander and mysterious destiny. Brum Goldhand sort of muscles over and he says, well, be that as it may, Sir Knight, these people are still, by their own admission, criminals and mercenaries, with no apparent stake or interest in the greater good of this realm. You would have us release them into your care on such a flimsy basis? What was that?
No, she starts chuckling at the no greater good or stake. Oh, darling. You get on the scene of council and you think yourself so high and tidy that you forget that the little people actually do have a stake in this. It's called life.
Allura, in turn, also shoots a glare at Brom Goldhand that's just subtle enough for you all to catch it and says, there was a time in the tide of the affairs of many of those present when such was also asked of them, Arbiter Goldhand. I have long since come to trust and rely on such people, as well you know. And Goldhand kind of rolls his eyes and sort of steps out and away from the conversation.
This is why you need to have council positions as elected officials, so they serve you, not them serving themselves.
Just becomes a really elaborate political discussion. Well, actually, I go along with an anarcho-syndicalist perspective, where actually people there is no sense of hierarchy, and even with a democratic structure, you could have some difficulties. Distributing swords out of lakes is no basis for a system of government.
At this point, I think it would be better. Either way, we have a Renard to go catch and kill. If he is the quote-unquote heir of the Cinder or whatever, well, then be rest assured that that's going to get taken care of because we're going to go kill him.
And just for my, to cut to the chase, we were hired to steal some gold from a dragon, and you don't like that.
We were hired to steal the gauntlet of 5-finger discount.
But now you're asking us to do exactly the same thing, but now this time it's for you. Because I'm assuming this is going to be about you guys asking us to steal the thing that was stolen from the other guy to steal it back again. I've seen these old switcheroos before. I've done this countless times myself. What do you want from us, and how quickly can we do it, and how much we're going to get paid?
The lawman has a good point.
Allura turns to you and says, very well, Mr. Kane, here is my proposal. Sir Siegfried will take custody of all of you and escort you on your mission to Gatshadow. Deal with the cult of the Angel of Irons. Investigate any possible link this might have to this Heir of Cinder and report back to us. You will be appropriately supplied and equipped ahead of your journey. In exchange, we will grant you clemency of your existing charges, and you will be free to go. If the information you glean is pertinent, there may even be some question of a reward for your service to the realm. Do we have an agreement?
I look to Percival in the corner, and because I sense a kindred gunslingingness between us, and I'm like, all well and good, but why do you trust us with this? But I seem to say it more, even though I'm saying it to everyone, it's evident that I'm sort of aiming it towards his direction.
Allura gives a sort of sly smile and says, do you want the honest answer or the one that makes you feel most important?
Well, seeing as you put us in a zone of truth a moment ago, I feel like it's only fair if you tell us the honest answer.
Expendability, plausible deniability, and as you say, it seems you have a personal stake in this matter after all.
So it is exactly the same as what we used to do back in the old days. It doesn't matter how hoity-toity you look, it's all the same. You find someone that's down on its luck and you get them to do your dirty work. It doesn't matter whether you've got gold hands or not, it's all the same shit to us.
Well, if our agreement is not to your liking or benefit, Mr. Kane...
Oh,
I never said that. I never said that, sweetheart.
We'll be taking
Very
it. We just
well.
want to know where we stand on the whole grand scheme of things. That's all.
Very well.
I'll do it.
may
You're
re-
saving your payment. I want a favor from the council. All money I get that will be going towards this, I'll give to you. But I want a favor from the council.
Interesting. Any particular favor in mind?
The boon will be granted when I need the favor done. Open favor. Call it a life boon.
Her eyes flicker to the automaton for a hot second and says, very well. You may rest for a moment in chambers that will be provided for you. Under armed guard, of course. We want to make sure that you don't get cold feet.
I want the paladins to witness and acknowledge that they heard that the council will own me a life boon.
Siegfried puts a hand across his chest over his holy symbol and says, by my honor, I will ensure that all debts are paid.
I look at the one with us. Or the Bahamut one.
The Dragonborn?
Mm-hmm.
She, and it is a she, the female Dragonborn nods and says,
the council will honor its commitments.
All right, we'll do it.
And Allura instantly brightens up and says, splendid. You will be escorted to some chambers where you may take a rest. I understand you have been quite busy the night before.
Mm.
You will be able to take rest, and you will be appropriately supplied and restocked for the journey by our own associate, who has proven quite useful in keeping us abreast of these matters. And there is a flash of purple smoke as out of nowhere, Sean Gilmore apparates and is like, hello, darlings.
Darling.
How was your smash and grab last night, dears?
Oh.
I think you can see how well that went.
I think you can see exactly how well that went. Were you the one who told them?
My first loyalty is to my city, darlings, but as they say, easy come, easy go. I still have that running charge account with you, Mr. Kane, if you wish to continue to partake.
Put it on their tab.
The beauties of government contracts, darling. So a conversation has been had. You have a mission, i.e. to go to the Mountain of Gat Shadow and pursue a quest to deal with a cult, and with the sort of side objective being find out whatever you can about this Heir of Cinder, which, based on the conversations you're having, you're able to interpret that the person they seem to be referring to is probably Renard. That Renard has been basically doing stuff like this for a long time, that he has been sort of zigzagging across the continent and based on the limited information you had about him or were able to glean about him before, that some of the high-profile jobs that he was linked to may have in fact been cover for him retrieving other similar artifacts that were in one way or another connected to Thordek. There isn't a clear connection yet, but there are puzzle pieces. There are points on the map that join up, and at the center of it, seemingly, is Renard. And I think also, as you sort of see the council sort of break quorum and sort of go off about their business, Errol, you notice Lord Dorolo talks to one of the guards in sort of a hushed whisper, and the guard comes to you and says, "At your earliest convenience, Lord Dorolo would like to see you in his private chambers, if that would be amenable to you." And sort of like clicks his heels and heads off. And you don't have the run of the building, but you have been given a suite of chambers to yourself. You will be under moderate guard to ensure that you don't try to abscond. But you've been given some time to prepare yourself for the journey ahead. So, are there any questions that you have as players? Any interactions you want to have before the meeting breaks up?
No, I feel like I just pat everyone on the back and then, other than having our shackles taken off, that'd be great.
Brenna holds up her hands and jingles her wrists. Listen, I love a good bracelet as well as the next girl, but I also like to, hug people. And I So,
the captain of the guard grudgingly unlocks your shackles, but gives you all a very meaningful look that you will be under guard. So
I give him a very meaningful look in return.
I think before the meeting breaks up, the Silver Dragonborn approaches you with a very remorseful look on her face and says,
"You spoke of Telford Cornflower. Was there any way of retrieving his remains? Is it possible?"
I think they're ash underwater. And it's at this point, Brenna does look actually like kind of upset by this. It's and like sad. She's, without like delving too far into it, she assumes that this guy's, Cornflower's friend. So she's just like, I don't think we can. But know that, Renard's going to die for it. I can forgive the double cross. That's kind of in our thing. But like, just to slaughter a friend like that is, mm-mm.
I feel like Errol just sort of like pats on the shoulder and a kind of like, this is like, I feel for you, and just does a shake of the head and I kind of like, nah, that's not going to happen. Doesn't say anything, but just like...
I was going to let this be a sweet moment, but I got to ask, do you pat the side with the arm or the side?
The side with the arm. The side with the arm. It feels a bit...
The lack of... where the arm would be... Oh.
Roll a d20. If it's too low, you choose the wrong side and go, oh, there's nothing there. Oh, shit.
Funny you should...
The side of the arm.
Funny you should... I'll say this, though, Errol. I won't make you roll for this because you made a point of this. You remember Telford's body was reduced to ash. However, you took the initiative before leaving. You did manage to retrieve 2 specific items from his body before you left the vault. Do you wish to share those at this moment in time?
I can't remember what I got.
I can tell you what it was. They're in your pocket? Do you wish to take them out and show them?
Yeah, but I can't remember what was it this Pearl of Power? Was that one of the things that he had?
Yes. You take out a pearl of a little round pearl and a small glass vial with a
Common Bloodwell vial. Was that the other thing?
Yes.
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 Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah, this person knows them. They seem sincere. I take them out and I'm like, yeah, like I pat on the arm, hold the thing out, and give them a look of like, no, they're not coming back.
The paladin, with her still intact hand, looks intently at these items, and her symbol and her eyes glow slightly as she sort of passes her hand over them as if inspecting them.
There is a trace. Would it be possible for me to take these items? If there is any hope of retrieving the soul of Telford Cornflower, these might be the only possibility of doing so. It would not be an easy prospect, but if it means that one of the chosen of Bahamut may be returned to this realm, I must at least try.
And there is a pleading look in this silver dragonborn's eyes.
I just put them in her hand and fold her like fingers over it and go like, sorcery's not my bag, like all that talking and hoo-ha. You have a good crack at it. And then I just head off towards Percival.
I'll linger and be like...
She lingers on the items in her hand.
You will be avenged. Don't worry. Even if you put me in that prison, you'd still be avenged.
She holds them close to her and says,
Telford was a complex man in life. The great destiny that he grappled with, the things that he did to cope with the great weight that was upon him. Very few of us in life are able to truly reckon with the path of fate has laid out to us. Thank you for seeing that some part of him could be returned. I only hope I can do what I can, that his death will not have been in vain.
And she nods to you and leaves. Not hurriedly, but purposefully. So, Errol is heading off in the direction that Lord Percival has gone. Brenna, you and Zebediah are escorted back to a rather plush suite of rooms. There are sleeping quarters and a place where you can strategize. There is a big oaken table in the center, various chairs and chaiselongs. You are in the company of Zebediah, Siegfried, and as you guys settle in, we'll jump over to Errol as you very quickly, a couple of guards slot in behind you and escort you through the corridors towards the chambers of Lord Percival Dorolo. They open the door for you and stand smartly to attention, and he is stood behind a desk with a very fine, polished walnut case of some kind resting on the desk. He looks up, acknowledges the guards, and says, "Thank you. Give us the room, please. Trust me, we'll be quite safe." And the guards nod and step outside and close the door behind you. And you are in the room with Lord Percival. And he kind of takes you in. You have been allowed to keep your weapons now that you are in cahoots with the council, but he looks very specifically at the lyre pistol and says, "May I inspect your firearm, please?"
I unholster it because I get a vibe from this guy that like I'm gonna get some info. Like I feel like we're on a similar page, but I take all the if it was previously loaded, I undo it, take them out, pocket them, do that cool thing that cowboys do when they just do loads of things with a gun and it spins around and lots of other stuff happens and I don't know how guns work. And then he puts the gun on the desk.
Just for fun, give me a performance check.
Yeah, cool. I got a 1, so I just fucking dropped its gun, I guess.
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
13.
Okay, you fumble trying to be clever with this. The good news is you do not discharge the firearm.
That's good. In my head, like I check my hands and they're like shaking a little bit. And after my weird dream and Telford dying and everything else, maybe there's something a bit more. There's a reason. Like maybe I'm a little bit more shaken than I'm like, I'm trying to be all like, yeah, you bring him back to life. I'm going to go over here and talk to this person. Everything's fine. I am on top of everything that's happening. But I'm not cool with any of this.
You don't see Lord Percival flinch, but there is a stiffening of the face and the raising of an eyebrow as he just holds out his hand expectantly.
I hand over.
He peruses the weapon. He has these round spectacles, and you can tell this man does not necessarily have any specific arcane proficiency, but he is definitely noticing elements of the weapon. He's perusing because this is a magical weapon, there is obviously residuum white stone elements built into it that he points out and he's observing, and he's just like, there are runes carved into this that allow you to, and he's just like, you just sort of admiring the craftsmanship, but also you sense something a little deeper in the way he is concentrating on this piece. He turns to you and says, "What do you know of the history of weapons like this in Exandria, Mr. Kane?" And give me a DC. Just give me a history check, real quick.
15.
Very good. You know that Lord Percival de Rollo is essentially the founding influence on modern firearms in Exandria. The earliest prototypes of the kind of pistols that you have are based on his designs. Most of them are knockoffs or basically pale imitations of his original designs that have, through various individuals in the world, have sort of bled through into. It's like once you've let the genie out of that particular bottle, it's very difficult to get back in. Mm-hmm. And you know that white stone under Lord Percival's rule has been very, very active in pursuing outside entities that wish to capitalize on the sale and manufacture and proliferation of these types of weapons. But they also have their own armed militia. So there is a very delicate balance in how these weapons are being treated. They are not widespread, or not everyone in Exandria has access to a firearm, but they are out there and are typically traded on the black market, or are, in the very rare instances, employed by, as I say, armed militias such as the Whitestone Rifle Corps and a handful of other small, very small groups throughout the world.
Okay. I feel like I give him the briefest overview of what you've just told me to sort of get him up to speed that I am also on his wavelength. But I culminate this by going, boy, I got this from, had no business carrying a gun of this caliber. Like, I don't know how he got his hands on this. What do you say is the origin of that piece?
Kind of looks at it ruefully and hands it back, holding the barrel towards himself and the butt and handle portion towards you.
Take it back.
When I was a much younger man, I was the subject of a great betrayal that destroyed my family, drove me into exile and squalor. For many years, I plotted revenge against those who betrayed the Dorolo family, seized Whitestone for themselves, and took everything from me. In that black hole of bitterness and rage, I made a pact with something unspeakable and wicked. I let darkness into this world that day, and in return, I was inspired to create a thing that would destroy my enemies. However, in my blind hatred, I lost sight of what it was I had allowed into my heart, and what terrible consequences it would have for the rest of history. A machine that makes only death and destruction. That creation, that weapon, is the very thing you now hold in your hand. It is my greatest contribution to this world, my deepest regret, the folly of a child trying to bring back what he lost by destroying those who took it from him. I will never be able to fully undo the wrongs I have done in the name of my family's legacy. However, I have made some peace, some restitution with my sense of what is right and what ought to be. I take back and dismantle what I can, control and minimize what I cannot hope to destroy. I do not know who is the craftsman who created this weapon, nor how they were able to enchant it in the manner in which it is. But it behooves me, as the one who helped make it possible, to know more. If I allow you to continue to use it, and weapons like it, I would have your assurances that it will be used in the name of the common good, and not for your own personal enrichment.
Well, I'll tell you this. The last boy who had this was definitely using it for his own enrichment. And I can assure you it won't be used in the same kind of vein in my hands.
Make a persuasion check. Go ahead and make it an advantage. Why not?
22.
22. Percival regards you one more time and sort of, I think visually you clock him making a decision. And he turns to the table and opens up the case that is on it and opens it up. Inside is what you can only describe as the most intricate and elaborate firearm that you've seen, possibly ever. It is a long-barreled rifle with a heavy stock magnifying scope with several lenses and little armatures to adjust. And there is a little niche where a number of bullets are sort of inlaid into it, and the lining of the case is sort of a rich, quilted, velvety sort of material. He beckons you closer to take a closer look. This weapon is based on my own design, one of the first rifles in Exandrian history. I called it Bad News because, simply put, nothing travels faster. Its parent served me well in my adventures, in battles against the Briarwoods, the Chroma Conclave, even the Whispered One himself. If you were going to face the Heir of Cinder, you would do well to have such a weapon at your side. Strictly on loan, you understand. When this is over, I expect you to turn in those weapons to me, personally. No man should wield this type of power in the world, not without some form of moral code to stay his hand. Do we understand each other, Mr. Kane?
Kane takes a little bit of a moment, and then he says, evidently you guys are all about your prophecies. You can tell because people who are into their prophecies never shut the hell up, as those guys out there surely showed. And then he pulls back a bit because he can tell he's hiding again by being snarky and not actually saying what he means. And then he makes eye contact with Percival and he's like, you said you made a deal with something mighty nasty. That comes some bad dreams?
Sometimes. Even now.
Because I'm wondering, and Kane is wondering, whether the thing that he saw in his weird dream that we did is related to these weapons. And I suppose his last question before he even does anything is just to go we've come out of nowhere. You don't know us from Adam. If that is a phrase that even makes sense in this world, I don't even know if there's a Bible.
I'm pretty sure at least one person on Exandria is probably called Adam.
Called Adam. Well, why do they say it's Adam? Why?
There's a Percival.
There's a Percival.
Percival is
you don't know us from Percival. Yeah, you don't know. You don't know us from Adam. Why are you entrusting me with this? Why do you think I'm going to come back with this? Why do you think I'm going to hand over anything? Why do you think I'm going to do anything that you guys are saying once we get out of this joint? And I'll say, he's not saying that in a kind of threatening way. He's not doing it as I'm going to run away with this. He's saying it as I'm evidently not going to, but you have no reason to think that's the case. So what the fuck?
I think on that high persuasion, he sort of smiles at you somewhat conspiratorially and says, we were able to find you once.
And then I suppose in that case, as a wonderful end to this sequence, if it was in a film, Errol lifts Bad News and holds it up to the light in a dramatic pose, ready to cut away to a different part of the story.
He places a hand on your shoulder and says, you speak of prophecy. I typically do not believe in prophecy. I don't put my faith in the gods. I put my faith in people. Consider this a gesture to put out into the world a little of what I would like to see reflected back.
I feel like we're kindred spirits in that. And I holster like a cool cowboy.
Give me one, since you brought it up, give me one last insight check. Make it insight or history.
I've just rolled insight and that was 21. My history is an unnatural 20. So DM's discretion, how he thinks about this.
I'll say on a modified 20 and a 21, given your previous experiences and where you came from and the connection he described, there is a lot about the nature of the abyss and aberrations and demonic, specifically not devilish, but demonic forces that you maybe would not have first-hand knowledge of, but is part of the sort of cultural lexicon of the Drow people. Your people live in the Underdark, and for centuries your primary worship was to Lolth, the great Spider Queen, who is, let's be clear, an evil god. She was one of the betrayer gods that fought during the Calamity and was imprisoned below the earth. Being from the Underdark and being from Kaimal and sort of living in the shadow of the great mountain Gat Shadow, there are forces from the abyssal planes that occasionally bleed over into this world that maybe aren't the same ones you encountered, but were of potentially the same stock and the same breed. These, in the sort of above the table sense of Lovecraftian creatures that affect the minds and the dreams of people in order to slip into the world and gain influence. Demons are not the same thing as devils. Devils bargain with the souls of mortals in order to gain influence and to rise in the ranks of the hells. Aberrant creatures and the great old ones, they seem to not regard mortal life in any other sense other than almost as food, is perhaps the best way to put it. So it is entirely possible that the inspiration for firearms was from some creature like this, but without probing further, you would have no way of knowing for sure.
Okay.
And I think on that note, yes, you are dismissed. You are given the case along with a finite amount of specific ammo for the typical ammo that you use in your regular firearms is distinct from these. These are larger shells. Whilst this is going on, a guard comes to the door and says, Miss Nimblecloak, your presence is requested by Allura Visorian in her tower.
Okay.
Do you follow?
Look at the paladin. She's not gonna kill me, right? Yeah, she won't kill me. Let's go. I'll follow.
I think it would be highly irregular to make an agreement of the kind we have embarked upon and then to kill you immediately. But we will see.
Yeah.
I'll head up to see her.
If any attempt is made on your life, I am honor-bound to avenge you.
That makes me feel better.
Okay. You follow the guard out and through the corridors of the palace. Give me a perception check as you do.
19. Thank you, lucky.
So you're proceeding through the palace. Now, you've never been inside this palace before, so you don't have an understanding or a pre-existing knowledge, I would say, of the exact layout. But as you are being led through winding corridors and downstairs and through passageways, you're having a difficult time seeing anything that might be the entrance to a tower. And I think as this instinct comes over you, the guard who is leading you, I think you see something. They seem to briefly shimmer.
You said Arbiter needed to see me. Where is he going to see me?
The guard brings you to a door. It's a small door, pretty unobtrusive door, opens it wide. Through here, miss.
And the Arbiter told him to see me in there?
The Arcanist was what you were told.
I know. She's trying to make sure that he remembers.
Make a deception check.
22.
You know what, let me roll real quick and see what we do here. So we'll say 22, was it?
Mm-hmm.
On a natural 19, the guard blinks for a second and says, "Yeah, it's just through this way."
Stop and lean on the door and across the room. Like, I thought you said Allura was going to see me.
At this point, the guard says something which only you would understand, because it's in thieves' cant. He says in the ergot of the thieves group known as the Clasp, "Go inside. If we wanted you dead, you would be dead already."
I will do the wide turn and walk like I'm dragging my feet.
Are you heading inside, or are you...
I'll step inside.
You step inside. It is a bare, empty room. One sort of slit window, like in the side of like a battlement, say. The door closes behind you, and the guard locks the door and stood inside there with you. And as the glamour fades, you see a 6-foot-tall half-orc. He is scarred across the face, has slightly droopy, lidded eyes. He looks to be the better part of middle-aged at this point. Wears the black robes and the hood common to members of the Clasp. And there's a dagger at his belt, sheathed, but looks at you and regards you. Says,
"Spiling Shen sent me.
Okay.
You know why I'm here."
I have an idea. Why don't you lay it out for me, though, just so I have And I'm going to start walking over to the slit in the wall and look over through it and see what's on the other side.
Make
just
a perception
so we are
check.
100%, unnatural 20. 100% on the same page.
You are looking through the window, and there is a probably about 100-foot drop. And even if you were small enough to fit through this window, you would probably be long dead before you hit the ground. There is nothing. They picked this room for a reason.
That's a scary drop. I must step away from it. Good thing I'm too small to even fit through that thing, huh?
Yeah, you don't say.
Uh,
So why don't I lay it out for you? You were called in on a job by Darwin Ninefingers, who is, as you may well know, excommunicado from the Clasp. He tried to blackmail us, tried to sell us out, saying he knew where a big stash of treasure was, that he was gonna sell us out to the myriad, they were gonna get something out of it, I don't know. I don't particularly care. What I care about is that you answer the call. Now, I understand you had your reasons. That's the only reason we're having this conversation right now. What matters is what you do next. People got into the mansion, managed to get down to the vault. It's been cleaned out very efficiently. You know anything about that?
I have to ask some sort of planar ally.
Big sigh and a slight shake of the head.
Did y'all a favor, though. Apparently that goal was cursed.
Oh, really?
Aye. And keeping it would have caused a lot more problems.
And I guess I only have your word to go by that that's the truth, huh?
I'm sure. Speak to the council about it. In fact, why don't we go there now? We can go have a nice little chat with them. How's that sound? Oh, wait. You don't want them to know that you're in on this. They were going to take it from me. Didn't know that, did you?
We survived as long as we have by staying in the shadows. What you've done here has brought a lot more eyes to what is going on below ground. Forget about the gold for a moment. Do you know how much effort it took to get into that building with all the eyes that were on it? We've been planning a job on that place for months, and you blew it all up in one fell swoop. Out fucking standing.
Pretty good job, but I think got in, found the situation, got out alive. Kept penning my name, but you know.
What exactly were you in there for in the first place?
It wasn't even for the goal. We weren't even in there for the goal. I could have cared less about the goal. The only reason why the goal is gone is I needed to survive. There's a 5-finger discount. Glove. Some shit.
Oh, yeah. The legendary gauntlet. Yeah, everybody's so interested in that. So where is it now?
Tiefling named Renard took it. Murdered one of my own.
One of your own?
In the job, I should say. Keep in mind, I've known these guys since this morning.
And now you're gonna go chasing around after this Renard to get it back.
Yeah, well, when a pawn gets upgraded to a bishop, they kind of start to listen to the king.
He smirks at that.
Okay. So look, this is how it's gonna be. The only reason I'm not cleaning your blood off my knife right now is you know where this son of a bitch is, or is going to be. So what I want from you is that gauntlet. Maybe that buys you your freedom. Maybe it just buys you not getting instantly whacked the next time you're in a clasp city. How's that sound?
Sounds to me like if I don't get that glove back, you're in trouble. You were
Well, if
charged
that's
with taking care of it, weren't you?
Make an intimidation check with advantage.
14.
A little flash of anger goes through his eyes, and he just takes a step closer and says,
Then you should have a pretty good idea of how much trouble you are in by extension. Let me make it simple. If you don't get this thing back, it won't just be that they kill you. They'll kill everyone you ever knew, everyone you ever cared about. Every person you loved, every mouth you kissed, every hand you shook will fall dead to the ground.
Step forward. That's so. Guess I'm gonna have to go get it. And I offer my hand out to shake.
he shakes.
Woman, just remember, by your own words, your fate's now tied to me.
Yeah?
Better hope I get it.
Well, you just remember, our debts are paid in blood.
Oh, I'm aware. And if I get this glove back, I got a fucking life boon from the city. Think about that. And I'm gonna walk out. And I'm not even gonna...
Yeah. The door is still locked.
Oh, I'm gonna cast Blink on myself as I approach the door and just walk right through it.
Ooh. Fucking A. You blink out of existence, or out of the material plane. What happens next?
I walk right through the door and start heading back to my room.
Okay, you just head straight back to the room?
That's where the paladin is.
Okay.
Meat shield protection, be there.
Make a perception check.
15.
You find a small stone with a rune carved in it that has been slipped into your pocket. It wasn't there before.
Look it over. Do I know what the rune is?
Make an Arcana check.
17.
Best you can tell, it looks like it could be a sending stone, but there is the possibility that it might also serve other purposes.
Would I have seen anything like this before? Would I know if it's... I guess I'm mostly... Would I know if it's a bug? Like, is he trying to listen in and follow, I guess?
Insight with advantage.
Ooh, like that.
And depending on how high you do, I might be able to give you some additional.
24.
You can't be certain whether this device specifically is, to use the common parlance, a bug. You believe it is an object that via enchantment would be something that someone who was able to scry on you could lock onto as a specific item that is in your possession and therefore listen in and look in on you at their discretion. But another thought does occur to you. I'll say on that high insight, you remember when you were in the mansion, one of the items that Renard kind of palmed off onto you was a scrying eye. And it has a number of charges. Now, you did not get the chance to use this item yet, so you have no idea whether it would work. But you get the impression that you could attempt, although it might be difficult, you could attempt to scry on Reynard and pin down his position specifically with this item.
Put it back in my pocket.
You put the stone in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the Palace of Imran, Siegfried and Zebediah are alone.
I understand what you saw earlier was very traumatic. Your friend must have died a terrible death.
It's not that.
Oh? What happened to him was horrible, but that's not what's bothering me now. Would you care to explain? It's you. I see. Any particular reason?
It's a long story.
Well, we have time. You're an Azamar. I am. when I was a child. My parents and I fled from Westruun when the Conclave came and the herd of storms sacked the city. We fled across the plains, looking for shelter. My parents, they were slaughtered by Anazima. You blame me because of what I am. I can assure you that it wasn't me. I know it wasn't you. Doesn't matter. I dedicated my life to hunting creatures, monsters. I've killed a lot of Azima in my life. Not just for money. I hate them. I hate what they did to me, what they did to my parents. The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter to the full light of day. You have done great and terrible things to be where you are today. It has brought you to me here and now. I do not believe that occurred for no reason. The Dawn Father is wise in his judgment. He would not set the two of us on a path together unless it was for some higher purpose. I believe that in the fullness of time, you will find the redemption that eludes you. I don't care about redemption. I don't care about the Dawn Father. I just want to do the job that's in front of me. And then I want to go back to what I was doing before. That is your prerogative. We will see what the fates have in store for the both of us.
Whilst you're in the city, before you leave, I'll actually say to you, Errol, you would, if you were going to use your criminal contact background feature to perhaps get a message out and try and pull in some additional we've established that your criminal network is mostly centered in Kymel. So you don't have direct contact with anyone here, but you could, if you were so inclined to, reach out to someone here in Amman to pass a message on to your network to get something back by the time you arrive in the vicinity. Is that something you'd be interested in doing?
No, because I don't know who's involved in what now with these Angels of Iron and everything else. So I don't want anyone to know that I'm heading back, on the off chance that that gives people a heads up that I don't want to have a heads up. What I did want to do is, you mentioned one of the women, no, well, there's two. There's one woman had an aura around her, and she intrigues me, and I want to know why. But the more important one is, you said that one of the council members seemed particularly shaken. Allura seemed conflicted and with guilt because of a great burden. And I was going to sort of try and surprise her in her quarters and be like, we need to have a chat. I want to know your story. You seem to have a thing.
We can do a sort of an abbreviated version of of that. You can roll me a fresh history check, and if you're doing this with purpose, you can roll that as at advantage since she's now firmly on your side.
History at advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank God! 5. It was a natural 1 before. My history's shocking. I only have a +1 in history.
So your total is
5.
5.
Bad things happened.
I think the short version of it is you make an attempt to sort of go and locate her and request some time with her. The problem is that as one of the people who is essentially running things, she has to be in multiple places at once and is a very powerful wizard. So you kind of find yourself struggling to sort of like navigate your way to find her specific wizard tower, much the same as Brenna experienced earlier. This palace is a little bit of a labyrinth, sort of on purpose. It is a seat of bureaucracy, and part of being a bureaucracy is not everyone wants people to be able to like just drop into their office at a moment's notice.
In that case, then, he would keep his eyes peeled for anything useful. If he ends up wandering between random places, is there anything else I can glean that might be like more like if I envision him like going like, I can't find this woman, and then like if this was a TV show, like going, oh, that's interesting. Like I've just walked past something that's happening that I never intended. Like, so is there the opportunity that I come across something that might be useful in my random wanderings throughout this palace? And what?
Make it an honest luck check.
How do I do that?
Just roll a d20. Call it odds or evens.
Oh, I should roll that again. I just rolled it. Even is lucky and odd is unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
We usually do high is good for players.
I got 2. So even.
You find in one of the great halls, you see a grand tapestry sort of etched in gold and silver and platinum threads and rich fabrics, and you see a sort of history of Tal'Dorei, almost like a bio tapestry, dating back many, many centuries at the farthest ends of it. This hall seems to go on forever. But at the nearest end of it is a section that you pick out that has a sort of stylized version of the city of Imon as a sort of a smoking crater with a huge red dragon poised and rearing above it. And you see figures in a oriented around this figure, and you see the members of Vox Machina. You see Allura and her companion, Lady Kima, beside her. And you get a little closer, and you can sort of see the artist has done them in profile, so you only see half of the face, but there is a sort of a look of determination on their faces that you are welcome to read a number of ways.
Okay. Putting that in the old noggin.
Okay. So you guys get your gear together, you are stocked, you are provisioned, you have been given a sort of lie of the land of where you are going to be sent. Allura is going to basically open a teleportation circle to get you as close to Gat Shadow as she can, because the area around in Gat Shadow is notoriously treacherous. And you all sort of gather together. You have your provisions. Siegfried is there. He's wearing one of the helmets that he has. Siegfried is basically encrusted in diamonds, rubies, and emeralds, and highly polished metal of all sorts. And he stands at the ready, gives you all a big smile, and says, "Are you ready to proceed, my friends?"
There's absolutely nothing subtle about you, is there?
That is our response to all of this. I'm really appreciating throughout all of this. Everyone is saying these like really dramatic monologues, and we're just like, yes, get on with it. Last Monty Python reference. Get on with it.
He smiles and just gives a big hearty laugh and says, "When one is on the path of the righteous, one need not be subtle."
I actually really appreciate that as a turn of phrase. So yeah, like all jokes aside, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, you win this one.
You all step forward into the teleportation circle, and Allura sort of looks at you and with a purposeful look on her face and says, "We will be in contact in no more than 24 hours. Let us know of any information that you are able to glean at Gat Shadow. Good luck." And there is a blinding flash, and you are shifted through space, and you see yourselves rocketed up into the sky amongst glittering lights and sparkling rays of arcana swirling around you. You see, stretching out before you, below, the city of Amon, and then the greater county, the greater region. You see mountains and woodlands, and to the far north you see snow-capped peaks as you are rocketed across the horizon. And bearing down towards you, you see, at first in the distance, but then getting closer and closer, this huge mountain, the peak of which disappears past the clouds, past the horizon, and you are rocketing so quickly towards it. And that's where we're going to end. We did it.
That was amazing.
Okay, we did it. I was so nervous. I was so worried.
Great.
No, you did amazingly.
That was Hoard of the Cinder King, a Tales from the Arclight program, written, directed, and produced by Adam X.Smith, executive produced by Adam X.Smith and Nathan T. Dean, game design by Adam X.Smith and Rebecca Reeg, original character designs by Jojo Smith and Mado Chadebec. Additional editing, sound design, and original title music composed by Myles Curwen. Additional sound engineering by Gunner. Additional music provided by Incompetech and composed by Kevin MacLeod. Sound effects sourced from freesounds.org and beats by talent on YouTube. Tales from the Arclight is made possible through Spotify for Creators, formerly Anchor.fm. Engage with us on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at the links in the description.